Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow, and this is my last day of my 12 days of crafting advent calendar box. And today I'm going to make a card that you'll find on my YouTube that I've made quite a few times, and I often make it for classes. And it's sort of an angled front of DSP. I don't really know what the card is called, but you'll probably recognize it once I start making it. So for this we need 2 pieces of the thick white card for our bases, and they're 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5 1/2, and I've got 2 pieces of gold foil, and that's just at 1/4 inch. I happen to have a lot of strips of it already pre-cut from another project that I was making, and so they're really longer than we need, but that's what I'm going to use. And this is the thick basic white. And then I have 2 layers of old olive, and I've embossed them with this beautiful pattern embossing folder. You can leave them plain, you don't have to have them embossed. I just think it adds a nice little touch. So I've got 2 pieces for that, and they're 4 by 5 1/4. And then for my designer series paper, I went with this pattern because we haven't used this yet. And my other choice was going to be this one that we haven't used any of. And this cardstock is boho blue, but I just thought it went really nicely with it. So I will make 2 more cards using that. But for today, I'm going to use this one. And I've already cut it down to the size we need, which is 3 3/4 by 5. And then we need some labels. You can make your own. You can use the dies in the pack, or you can use these ones that come in the pack as well. And some flowers and leaves. I've got flowers here, and I've stamped some of the flowers in green because I'm going to make them into the leaves. This is old olive, stamped once and then twice, and flirty flamingo, stamped once, and I have a little pile of the second generation stamping. So let's pop those to one side. It also says you need labels, which are these ones, but these as well. These come in the pack. And I'm not quite sure if I'm going to use them yet. I thought they might look nice on the inside of the card. So we'll wait and see with that. And that's everything, I think. I'm using Flirty Flamingo, Old Olive, and Secret Sea for my sentiments. And then I'm going to make one with this big thanks. And I wanted another thanks, but there's nothing on there that's small enough. So I'm using the Fabulous Sayings, which is one of the product of the month sets of stamps that we could get. And I'm just going to use this thank you. So let's get going. First thing to do is to cut our paper. And what you do is you measure 1 inch down on the top right and 1 inch up on the bottom left, and just cut across in the trimmer. And you can measure it on your grid paper like this. So these are all 1/4 inch. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that would be 1 inch there. Or you can use a ruler, whatever works. And then 1 inch up from the bottom. I'm going to do just the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll just cut between those 2 pieces. So I've got my trimmer. And I'm just going to line up in the track those little pencil lines. So I've got that one in the right place. I'm just going to move the bottom one so that it's in the track as well. And cut. And then we'll use one of these on each card. I don't think I've got any more trimming to do, so I'll pop that out of the way. And let's get our bases. So here's what we're working with at the moment. Okay, so I've cut these 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5 1/2, but you could cut them the other way as well if you wanted to cut across, and so that you have 8 1/2 by 8.5 by 5.5, and then just fold in the middle. Okay, so there's one, and here's the second one. I know some people don't score, they just fold over and then do it with their bone folder. I don't always have a lot of success with that myself, but if that's the way that works for you to score, that's great. Okay, so now my embossed layer here, and you can see it's just a gentle pattern. And I'm going to put one on the front of each like this. But I want to put my other designer series paper and my strip of gold on and cut round it. So I'm not going to glue them down straight away. I'm going to actually do my designer series paper on them first. Oops, let me see. I don't know which one I'm going to have. I think actually I'm going to have this one because I love that flower there and it just seems to be the right way around. So all we're going to do is leave a border left, right and at the top, and then we'll glue this on as well. And I'm going to make that go across the whole of the card, but you could stop at the edge of the designer series paper if you prefer. I'm just going to glue this on. I think the last time I made this and on my YouTube would be for one of the harvest sets that we had. So when I was looking back, I couldn't see a later one than that on the YouTube. So that might be about 3 years ago. So if you want to look for it, that's where you'll find it, about 3 years ago. Now I've got a little bit of pencil mark here. I'm just going to erase it. I should have done that first. I'll do it on the other piece. There we go. Now this one we're going to turn so that it's a landscape card, and I'm going to put the piece down here. But if you wanted, you could certainly have it this way or this way, the same as this. And for that, you would just have to choose a paper that, you know, doesn't matter which orientation you have. But I'm going to make mine go this way, just to make them both look a bit different. Not that the same person would get them, but sometimes I just like to change it up a little bit. Okay, now let's pop that gold strip on. So I'm just going to put my glue onto the cardstock rather than onto the gold strip. And then I know I haven't got too much glue on my card where I'm actually going to cut the gold foil off. Okay, so these are much too long. But I'd rather use what I have opened and you know, use my scraps like this as well. I can't even remember which project I was making with these. But they came out of the box that has all the Christmas papers in. I just saw them in there. But you don't have to use a gold piece. You could use just a coordinating strip of designer series paper or even cardstock. There's nothing to stop you just putting a piece of card down. Oops, let's trim that off. My phone just made a little noise then. I just wanted to check that it wasn't the video that was stopping, but it isn't. Take that piece as well. And this way your scissors don't get too glued up either, because there's no glue on the back of this. Remember, we put it all just on the card base instead. Okay, so let's pop those onto our thick white bases. You could certainly make this on a coloured background as well though. I just wanted to have that old olive peeping out and being part of the focus just because it's in the paper. This is a really quick and easy template, and one of those that once you've made it a couple of times, you'll put it on the keeper pile because you don't use a ton of paper, and the paper that you do use becomes quite a nice focal point. Okay, so at the moment they both look the same, but because we're going to turn that one like that, it will have sort of a different look to it. Let me just put the lid on here. Oh, now I did cut these little strips because I thought I might put some on the inside, but I haven't quite made my mind up yet. All right, I'm going to move these out of the way. We don't need these anymore. And what I'm going to do is work on my labels for the front. And I'm using the die cut ones that are in the box. I'm not quite sure which ones yet. Let's see, oh, I've got quite a lot left. That one might be a bit too small because I've got my little die cut flowers. Where did I just put the rest? I moved them a moment ago. Oh, here they are. And these are all Flirty Flamingo, and then the Old Olive, I did the bigger flower. So let me just get the stamps. So I did this smaller one and cut it out with a matching die, and the green ones I did in this larger stamp. I'm just going to experiment to see if I like it as the leaf. Now you can see why I chose the gold, just because these have that gold trim on them. And all I want to do is stamp something and then have maybe even only one flower. Might have it at the bottom. No, I think actually I like it at the top because I want to put leaves in. So I'm going to take one of the pieces that I did in the Old Olive, and I'm just going to cut so that it looks, maybe so it looks like a leaf. See, just like this. And I have another little one over there, I think. Because there isn't a big leaf stamp in the set. There's this small one, but it's not quite big enough for what I want today. So I'm just going to trim this as well. Yeah, I think I want it to go like this. So I know roughly where I can stamp my sentiment, and I'm going to do the same over here. This is going to be for the bigger sentiment. And I think I'm just going to do the same thing. I don't know. I'll see what it's like on the green. So I'm going to cut another. I cut lots because I wasn't sure if I might do like three flowers round, like this kind of an effect. But actually, I quite like it just with one. Right, let's cut this. Oops. Let me see, I think I used those two pieces. Is that what it was? Yeah. And I don't think anybody's going to know that this is not really a leaf. They'll only know if you tell them. Okay. So let's put this on here. Yeah, I think they work well enough as leaves, don't you? I think that would work. Okay, I'm going to put the rest back. I have so much still left in the kit to use. I think it's one of the most amazing kits I've ever bought from Stampin' Up. Right, let's do our stamping. So the big thanks is the one that I'm going to do on the longer label. Oops. You could also stamp a sentiment inside if you wanted extra stamping. And where's my stamp? There we go. I think we could probably do another full 12 days of projects and I would still have lots left. I'm going to move it just to the right hand side a little bit, just offset, so I've got a bit more space for that flower. So only a little bit offset, but I think that gives me a little bit more room. Let's clean that. And pop that one away. And then let's find that smaller one on the product of the month. And just that thank you. Oops. Hello would be quite nice as well. But I use a lot of thank you cards. So that just, let's have a look what else would fit. So the thank you fits. The smaller sentiments, of course. Actually, let's go with the hello. I do use a lot of thank you cards, but let's just try this. I haven't really used this one very much. I could probably use a smaller label as well. And I'm still going to go with this one. There we are. There's a nice script on that. And I would think a lot of people have this stamp set, with it being the product of the month. And for a little while, we were able to get them at $5 because of a printing mistake that Stampin' Up! Had made. But now, I think starting this month, May, I think now our product of the month is $7. The US is still $5, but ours have gone up to $7. But really, super value. And this month is a vellum paper, a printed vellum paper. Right, let's move those. Excuse my reach while I just get some dimensionals. But I want to have this popped up. Take those backings off. Can't pick them up today. Should have got my pokey tool out. Okay. So I'm going to set it down into the green a little bit more. I'll put those leaves and flowers on in a moment. Let's move this one and do the same. Let's put some dimensionals on. I'll save the other strips on the dimensionals, the edge strips. Let's put that up here a bit. So we can still have the effect of the flowers from down here. There we go. And then I'm going to add these over here. Just see which way. I think I'm going to just find one that's cut a little bit better. There we go. I think I'm going to pop it like that. So it will be glue at that side and a dimensional there. But rather than try and work out where to put the dimensional, I'm actually just going to put it on the card base. So I'm going to put it over here. And then I know I've got it in the right place. And just a little bit of glue across the bottom. Oh, come on, glue. There we go. I'm going to move it down a bit more. Just take that off. Whoops. There. Just wanted it to be a little bit nearer to the sentiment. Okay, and then this, I'm going to pop up on a dimensional as well. And put one right at the bottom. I'm not going to use any glue. I'm just going to pop this right underneath. And then, let's see, this other little one. This one, I think I'm going to glue. No, I could put that on a dimensional too. I think if I was putting it over here, I could glue, but I think I'm going to put it at the bottom. But I'll put it on a little one. Let's see again where that was going to go, right there. Okay. And I've brought my Daffodil Delight dark blend. I'm going to put a little bit in the middle here. Excuse me. And I've got the little gold embellishments. And as you know, I've started keeping them on glue dots. So I'm going to pop one of those right in the middle. It's quite a large white space between the flower. So I just like the look of it having a little bit of yellow marker as well. And then I'm going to pop two more on. Pushing the glue dot behind. I'm going to put them at the bottom here. And then for the inside, I didn't know whether to use these. So let's open that and see. These are so pretty. And you can just write your little message there. But I think I might like to back them. Let's see what size these are. These are 3 by 4. And I do have another piece of old olive. So I'm going to do 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. Let's see what that is. Oh, if I do 3 1/4 across. And that is 4 1/4. So 3 1/4. Okay. So pretty, these cards. And then we'll pop that in the middle. And that way we don't have to do a larger piece of card and find a piece of basic white, because we've got this. But if you didn't want to use something like this, no, use a strip of paper at the bottom. You could use a strip of paper and then a little piece of the gold even across so that it matched the front. But I like that. I like that inside. So there's our first card finished. Let's go on to this one. And again, I'm going to pop the flower up here. So a dimensional on the card base. I'm going to butt it right up to where the label is. And then you see a little bit of glue where it will meet the label. And that just keeps it in place. Oh, let me see those two. Get that daffodil marker. Find my leaves. I'm going to pop a dimensional behind the bigger leaf set. Like that. And then the little one here. Let's put a small dimensional. Push it right under there. There we go. And then where are our little drops? Here they go. Let's Push that glue dot right behind it. This is a much easier way for me to work with these. If I've got them already on the glue dots, it's just so much easier. Again, I'm going to put 2 over here. Oh, you know what else I've got? I've got some twine bows that I made. Let's have a look. I don't think I need the blue one. Let's just have a look, see if that... Oh, I quite like those on there as well. Let me find another glue dot. I haven't used much of the twine. So let's scrunch that up a bit. Let's put that just over here. And I'll just cut those tails down a little bit. And let's find the one that we're going to put in the middle here. I love this pink one. So pop it on its green background. You could, oh, isn't the back pretty? You could put it on a Flirty Flamingo piece of cardstock as well. I love the time-saving pieces, like the Memories and More, where you know, they're already printed for you. All the hard work's done. I love that. And don't get me wrong, some days I love to spend a long time crafting, but another time, if I want just a quick card, something that's pre-printed, like the pre-printed ephemera and everything, I think it comes together so nicely. I'm going to pop those in as well, I think. And let's pop some glue on there. Just make it a bit different. Whoops. And let me find my other glue dots. Here's more on a glue dot strip. I'm going to pop one on the inside. It's not going to be going in the mail. So I'm okay there. I do have a little pre-printed leaf. Don't think that would work. But I don't even think I need it. I think that would be fine. Okay, so let's go back to that other one. See if I want to put a little twine bow on there. Because it's a bit lower down. Still looks nice. Yeah, let's do that. Glue dots, where are you? Just going to put it right in the corner. I only have to take a tiny bit of the twine off for there. I might move the glue dots though, with the gems on. And if you just twist them a little bit, the glue comes off easier. There we go. Okay. Right, I'm going to pop these back on here because I think I'm only going to leave the one on there. There we are. So both insides are done. And there we are. 2 quick and easy cards. Small piece of designer series paper that goes a long way, and using the pre-made labels, a little bit of embossed card, and what a pretty cards they make. Thank you so much for watching me, everybody. I'm not quite sure what my topics are going to be next week. I've really loved doing the 12 days with this kit. I think there are so many more options and different styles of cards you can make. So if you've got that kit, show me some of the things you've made. Thanks so much again, and happy crafting, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye bye.